This program is brought to you by thepodcastfactory.com.
How would you like to get more customers, make more profits, and have bigger breakthroughs? Get Doberman Dan's profit-boosting breakthroughs. Normally, this would cost you $98 per month, but right now, for listening to this show, he's giving you a free copy of his Doberman Dan letter. All you have to do is go to DobermanDan.com and sign up to get your free copy now.
Prepare yourself for the uncensored, nothing held back, no BS reality of how business and life really work. Doberman Dan is off the chain.
You're listening to the Off the Chain Show. Welcome back, Canine Crew, to another edition. If you missed it, last week we had Mr. Ryan Lee with us from freedom.com, and we were talking about all kinds of mindset, all kinds of strategies, and most importantly, dime sales. So why don't we jump back in to the second part of that interview right now?
Because when you find that magic, when you're aligned with like what it is you're good at, what you love to do, and you're always trying to do the right thing, it's magic. And you feel it, and you're just everything, your business, your marketing, everything becomes effortless. That's the place you got to get to. So I know no matter what, even if tomorrow freedom crashes, I lose everything. I'm like, all right, why'd that happen? What happened? I'll be upset for 5 minutes. I give myself 5 minutes to get pissed off. Then I'm done. It's over. What's next, baby?
Wow, 5 minutes. I give myself like a good full 48 hours to really wallow in that misery and desperate. You know, of course, I'm half Irish.
Yeah,
I'm half Irish, so you know the Irish. You know, like we got to drown our sorrows, and nobody mourns better than the Irish. Nobody moans better than the Irish. Nobody self-loathes better. So I take a full 48 hours to enjoy that misery.
Yeah, you enjoy the 48 hours.
That's way too little for me. I couldn't even finish beer.
Fast, man. Even Jewish people, like when someone passes away, like they try to have the funeral within like a day. Like none of this, you know, because my wife's Catholic and I've been to a lot of Catholic things, and I never knew there was like the whole before the funeral. There's like days, right, where you're going into the funeral home and seeing the body, and the Jews like in the ground as fast as possible. Like, let's get it done. We can mourn after, but let's just kind of get it done.
I like that.
Yeah, it's fast. But I really don't wallow in the past. And I mean, I look back at some mistakes I've made, and I could, you know, some of the mistakes I've made, some of the things like slit my freaking throat knowing how much money I've turned away, or stupid things, or stupid investments. You know, I mean, we're talking millions of dollars. But I always say at the end of the day, like my wife and kids, they're happy and healthy. I'm good.
That's right.
Like what else matters? So what? The business didn't go well. So what? The affiliate didn't promote. So what? The thing crashed for an hour. You know. So what? They didn't open my email. You know, I only got 5 likes. So what? My kids and wife are good. They're happy and healthy. I'm good. I'll get through everything. It sounds
like working in rehab with the kids at the Children's Hospital helped put everything in perspective.
It really did. You know, you'd see a kid who, you know, especially some of these young kids with things like cerebral palsy, where you'll have an 8-year-old who's had, 29 surgeries. I mean, and they're in physical therapy for like 6 hours a day, the most painful, if you've ever, just the most painful stuff on the planet. And they come out with a smile. Hey, Ryan, what's next? Like, what are we doing?
Wow.
Like, just that really, everything else, man, everything else is gravy. It really is. And I'm blessed to have had my career start there. I have my kids volunteer and, see and count your blessings and see how fortunate you are. So you kind of start with that base where you can't let the stuff get you down. And I'm not saying I don't live in reality, right? Like when my mom passed away, man, I didn't know how I was going to recover from that. It felt like, like just being, stabbed right in the heart. But, it's life, and you got to keep moving. So, and it also taught me to also appreciate, we all have an expiration date. So let's enjoy it while we're here.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's another important thing to keep in mind, especially when you get to be my age and you realize, holy shit, I got more days behind me than ahead of me. So I better start getting
you're on the
real
back
clear.
nine, right? Yeah,
that's right. Like, do I really want to do this or what I'm considering? Do I really want to do that? Like, in another 25, 30 years, when I'm on my deathbed, I'm going to say, gee, I sure am glad I did that. Or am I going to say, gee, I'd love to have all my time back I spent in that thing just chasing the money.
Right. Yeah. Oh, I'm glad I went, I'm glad I launched that dime sale.
Yeah.
What an impact in the world I'm making. I mean, here lies Ryan. He was so good at doing dime sales.
Dime sales. He was the dime sale master. Yeah,
he was the king of dime sales. They called him the dime sale Don.
Yeah, that's the legacy you want to live behind. Yeah.
What just awful. Well, and I was going to say there's nothing wrong with that. Yeah, there are things. And I know I'm picking on one thing, but just think bigger than that. Yeah, when it's my time to go, I don't want to have any regrets. So I'm going down swinging.
So what you teach your peeps in freedom, like, what would you tell somebody who comes to you and they're like, man, I read your stuff. I read about how you just feel like you are everything is right in your life. You're passionate about what you're doing. You're excited about every day. I'm not. How do I find that same passion? How do I identify what I'm supposed to be doing?
Well, I'll give you a perfect example. It's funny because about 2.5 hours ago, I did a coaching call with a guy, fitness professional. So he trains some clients part-time and full-time. He works, he does like machine something. He works, I guess, in a factory fixing machines. I'm not even sure exactly what, but he hates it. But his site isn't going anywhere. He has no list. I said, what have you done in the past 48 hours to market your business? Nothing. He's just just keeps making excuses. And we got into it and I kept digging. I'm like, what is it and I even said to him, what does your dream day look like? A year from now, what does that look like? He goes, well, I'd be training some clients and, and I'd probably have a part-time job just to be safe. I'm like, are you effing kidding me? Like, I'm talking about this is your dream day and your dream day is having a shitty part-time job to be safe? No.
Yeah.
That's unacceptable. That is uneffing acceptable. I said, and we started digging into it. He's like, well, I really love, he likes doing relaxation stuff and he loves being outside. I said, if you could do something every day, what would you do? It would be like outside and hiking and natural stuff. I said, what if a year from now, every day you're taking a group of 15 or 20 women a fitness hike because he lives right near the woods in the mountains. I said, and you stop for 10 minutes, you do the exercise, and you do the relaxation stuff. And he was like, oh my God. Like I could hear him just breathe and laugh. And he started laughing and you could hear someone smiling. And I was like, he's like, that would be the greatest life in the world. I said, then that's what we're going to do. That's what we got to do because he wasn't aligned with what it is he's meant to do and what his gift is. So now it's I'm also a realist and it's not always, look, in a perfect world, I would watch 2-3 movies a day. That's not, I'd also be diabetic and, it wouldn't be pretty. But so now his marketing is going to work better because now he's focused on something and he's doing something. He's just like, this is what I'm meant to do. But most people never get to that point. So they start building systems and marketing and building friggin' funnels based on something they're not even excited about anyway. They're like, well, I heard that if my add to cart button is bright yellow instead of dark yellow, it's going to get 18% more clicks. I'm like, yeah, but you're not even doing what you like.
That's right.
What the hell's so it's just, I look at some of the stuff, I look at the people that go to these events and buying all the shit. And I'm just like sometimes I feel like I'm the only sane person. I'm like, I just want to smack everybody and just be like, can everyone just get real and just wake up? And let's just kind of start over. Because everyone's doing the wrong stuff.
That's right.
I don't know. Yeah. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think so.
I don't think you are. So I'm working on an article now about the whole reason I got into direct response marketing was because I wanted to get out of my job on the police department. I wanted to work half the time, make the same amount of money, so I could just go do the music thing. I just wanted to play guitar, be in bands, write music, record, that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. Well, so mission accomplished in 1997, 20 years ago. I'm just being totally transparent. Have I gone and done that? Tad bit in spurts, but no. what I got involved in, and sadly, for 2 decades, was just chasing the money. Like, oh, okay, well, geez, I've equaled my job income. Let me see if I can double it. Then I'll do what I really want to do.
Yeah,
oh, wait, I've doubled it. Let me double it. Then I'll see, here I am 20 years later, finally doing what I could have done 20 years ago.
Yep. When I do coaching calls with people and I'll say, how much do you want to make? Like, what's your goal? They'll say, $200,000 a month. And I always come back with a question that stumps them. I say, why? Well, that'll give me the ability to do what I want. I said, if you made $50,000 a month, that's not going to give you the ability to do what you want. Well, no, that will. So why 200? And they can't even answer what it is. So I'm with you. And I also know that when you start making more, you're like, okay, well, your spending rises to how much you're making. If you're making $1 million a year, you start spending more. And it just kind of naturally happens. We used to live in a little apartment and then a townhouse, and now we live in this very expensive home in New Canaan, Connecticut. So I feel you on that, but I'm also living like I want to. I played tennis last night. I played tennis on Sunday. I'm going to go to a movie on Friday with my kids. Like, I'm right after this. It's beautiful outside. I'm going to go out to our backyard and go swim a little bit. So I'm going to live.
You're not a slave to your possessions. You have nice possessions, but you're not a slave to them.
No, I can again.
A lot of high income people are slaves to their possessions.
I couldn't care any less about. It doesn't matter to me. It's not what I do like. What's nice is, so we're going on vacation in a couple of weeks, and one of the days we're going to spend it in an amusement park, and I'll probably do like that VIP fast pass for like an extra $200 a person. So we could like kind of zoom ahead to the front of the line like a-holes. But, I earned it.
That's right.
Little thing. Oh, and we're going to stay in a really nice resort. Like, we're not going to stay at a Motel 6, and we're going to get a 2-bedroom suite. So we could live, we could enjoy the experiences more, but I'd rather spend $20,000 on a vacation than a watch. Again, it's just my personal preference. There are some people who love the watch and who love the cars and the Ferraris and taking pictures. That's cool. If that's what gets you excited, that's cool. But that eventually you get that thing that you think is going to make you happy, and then you get it and you're like, all right, well, what's next? Just like when you're a kid. Oh, I promise, Mom, the minute I get my Nintendo, I want the original Nintendo NES. The minute I get it, I'm happy. I'm never going to ask for anything again. And you get it, and 6 months later, the new Sega Genesis comes out. Okay, if I get this, I promise I'm going to be happy. It never ends. That now it's the Xbox and the Xbox 2 and 3. It's just, you're always going to want the next thing. So don't even try. Just enjoy the time. Enjoy people, because it's like the old, if today was your last day, what are you going to do? And most people, especially if you're a parent, spend time with my kids. Of course, that's going to be the answer. It's not going to be go buy a car.
Absolutely. Or I want to work a lot more to make more money.
Right. Yeah. What last day, what are you going to do? I'm going to do another dime sale.
That's right. Jonathan, we got to, for the title of this episode, it's got to have something about dime sales in it.
Hey, you mentioned, got it.
The dime sale, yeah. Hey, you mentioned, since I talk about pretty much anything and everything on the show, you mentioned that you're married to a Catholic. So how does that work? Like, how did that go over with your parents? Were they like, you should not marry, you should marry good Jewish?
Look, we were very, even though we went to a conservative temple, we were very, very reformed. Like, my parents never had the bar mitzvah. It was more cultural for us. We like saving money, so it was very cultural. I was actually dating. She's my wife now. We started dating in college, and they loved her because she was like the sweetest person, and she was so nice, and so there was never an issue. And when we decided that at the beginning, it's funny when all our kids were little, and even at our wedding, we had a priest and a rabbi officiating.
Oh, that's so cool.
They called them the God Squad, so we had both. And even when our kids were born, they actually had both. We had combination like baby naming / baptism. So they, we covered all the bases. But then after my mom passed and my wife and I were talking and we started saying, maybe we pick one. And my wife said, why don't we raise them Jewish? So my kids are actually going to a Reformed temple. And my oldest daughter last year had her bat mitzvah. So even though we celebrate everything in our house, we have a Christmas tree, we have the menorah. With my wife's family, we'll go, for Easter. But the kids identify as, if someone says, what's your religion? They would say, I'm Jewish, because they go to Hebrew school and they have their bar and bat mitzvahs. But we just know that really, if you look deeply at religion, the overall thing is just be a better person.
Mm-hmm.
That's really the essence of it. So we're not a very religious family. We just try to raise the kids to be good people.
That's so cool that they're exposed to the two different faiths, so to get a different perspective.
Right. They know about both religions. So, yeah, but it was, and it's worked out well for us. I have a friend who lives in town and he's Jewish and she's not, and they did the opposite, and the kids go to church and it works for them. And that's cool. Whatever, you'll kind of find your own thing. So
back when things were like just going to shit for you, when you lost the supplement business, your mom died, are those the times that you've been just driven to your knees and you're like, I'm glad I have my faith. I'm glad my parents made me go to synagogue. Or is it just totally just kind of a social kind of cultural thing for you?
It's probably more of a cultural. I mean, I do remember at my mom's funeral, like because the prayers we say are in Hebrew, and I still remember all the Hebrew prayers. So I remember saying that and having a little tinge of kind of religion at that point, but it was still more of me looking around saying, okay, my wife's still here. My kids are here. I'm good. Like, that's going to just kind of keep me centered. Like, my mom is gone and it sucks and I'm going to miss her and she's never going to see my kids grow old. But I'm going to still, for her, to honor her memory, I'm going to do my best to raise my kids well. God, I'm like getting emotional, but yeah.
It's
dime sale, baby. Dime sale. Let's get back
to dime sales.
Dime sales.
Did you go through after your mom passed away, did you go through sitting Shiva?
Yeah. We had it at our house.
So you just said something earlier that I didn't know, that when somebody dies, the Jews are like, okay, they're dead. Let's get them in the ground. Let's get this over with. And then sitting Shiva lasts how many days?
It depends. So my step grandmother, who just passed away, she was 99.
Wow.
They did, yeah. She had married my grandfather when I was, a year old, because my other grandmother passed away before I was born. So she just passed away, and she was 99. All her family's pretty much gone. So that was like they sat Shiva for one night.
Okay. But for your mom,
it was maybe 2 or 3 nights. But that was it. But I know the more religious, it's usually longer. But it's kind of the opposite. Whereas a Catholic, there's a longer thing before the funeral, right? There's like usually at the nursing home, at the funeral home, and I forget what they call it before. What did they call it beforehand again?
Awake, right?
Yeah. Wake, and that could be a couple days. So it's kind of flip flopped with the Jewish. We have the funeral as quickly as possible, usually within 1 to 2 days. If usually within, try it really fast, and then Shiva for anywhere from 1 to like 2 or 3 days.
So I'm seeing a metaphor. Of course, I could be totally mistaken about this. I'm damn near 100% ignorant about Judaism, but I'm seeing a metaphor here for life in business, and especially a serial entrepreneur. So in the Jewish faith, someone passes away and it's like, let's get them buried. We're going to sit Shiva. So you dedicate those days to mourning the loss, right? Mourning the loss of that person.
Yep.
And then at the end of sitting Shiva, boom, time to move on. Is that correct? Is that the?
Yeah. I mean, pretty much, right? Yeah. I mean, that's
us Irish want to, still be lamenting that shit 20 years down the road.
Well, what we usually do, like if you're buried, then a year later, you'll have what's called the unveiling. So then everyone goes to the funeral, to the cemetery 1 year later, and then they'll reveal like the headstone, and then there'll be like a little short ceremony, like a 10-minute thing.
I like that.
Yeah.
I should have been Jewish, man.
Come on over. Come on. Yeah, it's never too late, my friend.
I look good in a yarmulke.
Damn Doberman, you look great in a yarmulke.
No, I like it, man. I'm thinking about like all the things you failed at, Ryan, all the things I've failed at. Same damn process. We're like, when other people are paralyzed by that shit and never move on, we're like, all right, we want to get this thing buried as soon as possible. You sit Shiva for your failed business or project, whatever, 5 minutes. I sit 48 hours and maybe imbibe in substances I should not imbibe in. But then we're done. Sitting Shiva's over and life moves on. Now it's time to start over. I like that.
Right. You just, you don't forget, right? You don't forget what happened. You learn from what happened, and you never forget your loved one, and you never forget the business failure, but you don't lament it. You don't sit home all day and never live again. My dad
and just like what you said
again. Yeah, you gotta live again.
A year later, you can revisit the gravesite and, think great thoughts about that person. Same thing with the business. A year later, you want to revisit it for, an hour or so. Like, oh yeah, I remember I crashed and burned that business. Hey, look at all the great things I've learned.
Right. Absolutely. That's the thing. You got to learn from it. Right. So you've got to, especially if your business fails, what did I do wrong? How did I screw up? And how do I make sure I don't repeat that mistake? Some people don't learn.
That's right.
And so you got to learn. And that's
like me. You got to learn the same damn thing like 2 times.
Maybe three. Right. But, and you got to keep but the thing is, it comes down to resilience. You just got to get up. You have no choice. What is that saying? Like, fall 7 times, get up 8, right? Like, it's not an option. And as an entrepreneur, you're going to fall a lot. And you just have to, I look at it like, especially when I'm going to launch a new business, a new company, a new product or something, I mentally think of it like I'm going to go into it like a boxing match. Like, I train physically, mentally, like I'm going into a prize fight. Like, I'm training for the championship. Like, everything from even now, like, there's something that we're doing a whole reboot with Freedom. Yesterday, I went to the car and got my car, I got the car washed. It looks great. Like, there's just something about that process of kind of cleaning stuff up and throwing things out and dialing in your nutrition and your fitness, getting physically ready, spiritually ready, throwing out old notebooks, just like clearing the space, clearing the deck, saying, I'm going to be in peak condition for this thing. Like, I'm not pulling all-nighters. I'm going to sleep more. I'm going to sleep 8 hours a night. That whole pulling all-nighters is the worst thing for you. The old, hustle and, if you're not hustling, you're dying. Whatever that crap is, right? I'm grinding while you're sleeping is bullshit. That's that's the worst thing you can do. Your body, your mind, everything needs to be recharged and relaxed and refreshed. And then you come in, as a boxer pulling, an all-nighter before the fight, no, they're resting. So that's the way I look at it. That's like business. You got to get ready, and you're going to know that in a boxing match, you're going to get hit, and you're going to get hit hard, and you're going to get hit a lot. And if you go into a boxing match like, oh, I'm not going to get hit once, you're living in denial. You're just living in denial.
That's a great analogy. That's the boxing analogy, and what you said, how you mentally, physically, spiritually prepare yourself. Yeah. That's a great analogy. Man, I feel like we're just getting started, and we got to wrap this up.
Oh, we're just getting warmed up, baby.
Just getting warmed up, man. Just getting into the good stuff. Woo. So thanks so much for doing this. I had a good time. I sure hope you did too.
It was, we both know Kevin Rogers, right?
Yes.
And I told him what I'm going to tell you, that this podcast, and I've done a lot of interviews, this was one of the top 30 to 40 I've ever done. Maybe top 50. So,
wow.
You, my friend, are, you're doing something special.
Hey, what would I have to do to get you to come back? Because now you've got my competitive spirit. Like, damn it, I want to at least get in the top 20. No, really, would you come back?
Come on. Of course I'm coming back. All you got to do is promote my dime sale, and I am so bad.
Yes.
75, dude, I got 75% commissions. I have 16 upsells, and they're converting at like 82%. Dude, you're going to earn like a $7,500 earnings per click EPC. I've never seen anything like it. Dude, you're in, and I reciprocate like hell for you. You in? I reciprocate like a madman. I reciprocate like a mofo.
Why?
I don't care what you're selling.
Why did you want to get out of the guru thing? I mean, that just sounds wonderful.
It is such a sweet, loving, caring industry.
You know what? When you come back, we're going to talk more about that.
Oh, I can't wait. You know what? Just like the boxing match, you let me know, and I'm going to train my ass up right for that one.
Well, I'm looking forward to it. Ryan, thanks again. I appreciate it. Ryan Lee, if people want to get information about you or Freedom or both, where should they go?
Freedom.com, FREEDYM.com.
Awesome. Thanks a bunch, Ryan.
Thanks, brother. Appreciate it.
Hope you enjoyed today's show. Canine Crew got a special treat for you, what we are affectionately referring to as the Off the Chain Hotline. Tell us you love us, tell us you hate us, ask questions. We don't care. Just call 321-424-6043 and give us a piece of your mind. Thanks for listening, and remember, if you want to create rivers of revenue from your existing customers, then the next thing you need to do is go to DobermanDan.com. He's giving away a free copy of his $98 per month Doberman Dan letter just for listening to the show. Go to DobermanDan.com now and sign up for your free issue.
This is the podcastfactory.com.